Okay, everyone, this is going to be the luckiest week of the month. I am so excited, and I want to talk about what luck actually is before we get into the transits for the week, because there is some research on this that is going to completely change how you approach this new moon in Taurus that is coming up on Saturday, and I'm just so excited to show you what I found. Before we get into the astrology, I want to talk about Dr. Richard Wiseman. He is a psychology professor and spent 10 years studying lucky and unlucky people, 400 participants total. And what he found was not what anyone expected. So lucky and unlucky people have access to the exact same opportunities. The difference was not what happened to them, but it was what they noticed. Lucky people have what they call a larger luck surface area. They are relaxed rather than anxious. They trust their intuition. They are open to the new experiences in their life. They take different routes. They talk to new people. They say yes to the unexpected, right? The nervous system that is contracted with anxiety literally can't see what is right in front of it. So lucky people are not more talented or more deserving. Their nervous systems are simply more open and more receptive to what is already available in the world. And here is the most striking finding. He found a group of people who consider themselves unlucky and taught them to think and behave like lucky people. Almost all of them reported significant life changes, including increased self-esteem, physical well-being, confidence, success, everything changed for them. So luck is not fate. Luck is the size of the surface area you present to possibility. I want you to hold that kind of research as we move through this week, because everything that is happening astrologically this week is specifically designed to expand your surface area for your luck. We open the week on Wednesday with Mercury sextile Jupiter at 20 degrees. So Mercury is in Taurus and Jupiter is still in Cancer. This is another one of those most optimistic aspects available. So remember, on Sunday, Mother's Day, we had the Sun sextiling Jupiter, and now on Wednesday, Mercury is going to come in contact with Jupiter now. This brings so much expansion to the mind. Ideas feel way more possible than they might have not felt last week. Wednesday is the day to just really just take a chance on something. There could be really some sort of conversation or connection that happens that completely opens the door for you. It's also just a really good day to sit down and map out your future. We have the positive thinking aspect mixed with really good decision-making skills involved in this transit. It could even just be a really good day for negotiating a contract or signing something. I don't know. Whatever you decide to do on Wednesday, the odds will be in your favor. So just take advantage of Wednesday. It's a great, optimistic day for everyone. On Thursday, the Sun conjuncts Mercury at 23 degrees Taurus. So the identity and the voice become one. People could really stop and listen to what you have to say today. This could feel like a very busy day for some of us. When the Sun and Mercury join, it brings just a lot of plans, appointments, social interactions, commitments, but it's all really positive. So it's going to feel busy in a very good way. It's also a really good day to just meet new people or share new ideas. Just a big day for social interactions in general. I really want all of us on Thursday to just speak our minds. We have things to say and people are really gonna listen on Thursday. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't feel confrontational at all. Both of them being in Taurus instead of Aries like they were last month, it's just really good grounded energy that allows us to communicate with ease. It's this is how I think of it. It's like driving to work and hitting every single green light on the way. It's that kind of energy. It's just flowing and beautiful. Now I want to talk about Saturday before we get into the new moon, because what happens literally 30 minutes before the new moon perfects on Saturday is really, really important for us to look at and understand. So Mars is going to conjunct Chiron at 28 degrees Aries. We've already had a lot of planets moving through Chiron and Aries over the past few weeks. It's making me kind of feel like I sound like a broken record. We had the Sun conjunct Chiron, the Aries new moon conjunct Chiron, Mercury conjunct Chiron at that Scorpio full moon 2 weeks ago. Each one of those was an activation of the wound around who you want to be and the courage you have to take that action. The planets are really just not allowing us to sit back and chill this year, I swear. But honestly, I think, it makes sense because it's the year of the fire horse. It's all about action and initiation. Mars conjunct Chiron on Saturday is the last of the inner planets to make this conjunction before Chiron moves into Taurus next month. So this is kind of like the closing ceremony of a really big chapter for some of us. Mars is the most fitting planet to close this whole cycle because Chiron in Aries has always been specifically about the courage to act, the wound around either action or inaction, the places where you've learned that moving forward leads to pain. And so your nervous system has learned to contract instead of expand, or even just a wound around speaking up for yourself, right? Being that main character in your own life. So Mars meeting Chiron here is asking one final direct question before the chapter completely closes. What have you been too wounded to try? The answer to that question is what you're going to plant on the new moon. 30 minutes later, the new moon perfects at 25 degrees of Taurus. This is a supermoon, the moon at its closest peak to Earth in its monthly orbit. So the energy is going to be amplified and the pull is stronger than usual. And this supermoon is in Taurus, the sign where the moon is exalted. Exalted means that it's in its full power, so operating in its most nurturing, most grounded, and receptive expression. And it is sextile Jupiter in Cancer at the same time. So it just gives us even more opportunity for true abundance and expansion. I cannot tell you how freaking excited I am for this new moon. This feels like the most fertile planting moment, honestly, of the entire year. And I want to tell you something about the new moon as well. The tradition of planting seeds at a new moon isn't just kind of a modern spiritual metaphor. It is one of the oldest agricultural practices in human history. So the ancient Babylons were the first recorded people to observe the moon's effect on plant growth, and then the ancient Greeks and Romans adopted the practice. So the Roman historian Pliny the Elder wrote about lunar planting in his Natural History as a central agricultural wisdom. Native American tribes time their corn, bean, and squash planting with the moon cycles. The Celts in Britain, the people of New Zealand, the farmers in China and Africa, across honestly every continent and every culture that has ever grown food, the new moon during planting season was considered the most sacred moment of the agriculture calendar. And here's the science behind it as well. Between the new moon and the full moon, the gravitational pull of the moon draws moisture to the surface of the soil. Seeds absorb more water during a waxing period. They swell and they germinate faster. The seedling then emerges just way stronger and way better established. So the new moon is literally when the soil is just the most receptive. Our ancestors obviously didn't have the science to really know that, but they observed the results over thousands of years and they passed that knowledge down. The seed planted on Saturday has 2 weeks of increased moonlight and increasing soil moisture to germinate. So what grows from this new moon honestly has the most fortunate conditions available in the entire year behind it. If there was ever a time to set intentions for anyone that's listening right now, please, please, please take advantage of this new moon. And remember, the new moon exacts at 4 p.m. EST, so make sure you don't set intentions before it. You can do it anytime after, but the door does not open until 4 p.m. EST. I have a little ritual that I'm going to be doing, and I'll also share it here for those who feel called to do it on the night of the new moon. You will just need a piece of paper and a pen and some soil. So a pot that you have inside your house or outside your house, your garden, your backyard, anywhere where you can just dig some soil up. And if you have time before Saturday, pick up some seeds, something simple like a flower or an herb, just something that you can see that visibly grows. And before we even begin to write anything down for this ritual, we're going to take 5 minutes to prime our nervous system. This is the Wiseman piece. The lucky nervous system is relaxed and receptive, right? We can't plant from true desire when the body is contracted with anxiety. And since it's a Taurus new moon and we're in Taurus season, we're going to find something that activates each of our 5 senses that we just absolutely love. Something beautiful to look at, something that smells comforting or like home, something that tastes really good, something that sounds like peace, either music or nature or running water or a sound bowl, whatever your body associates with things being okay. Something that just feels really, really good in your hands as well. So soft fabric or a warm cup of tea, grass, the earth itself. And I really don't want any of us skipping this step because it's so important to deliberately shift the nervous system from contracted to open, from anxious to receiving and receptive, right? You are expanding the luck surface area in the most literal way available through the body, through the 5 senses. After we get our nervous system in a very calm and relaxed state, we are going to write one simple intention, just one. The thing that Mars conjunct Chiron asked about earlier in the day, the seed that has been sitting in the waiting room of your life because some part of you learned that wanting things led to potentially disappointment. Write it in just one sentence. Be very, very specific. The more specific the seed, the more specifically it grows. From my experience with manifestation and setting intentions, the intention should be something that can be attainable within the next year. So we might have like this big, big dream, right? But the intention that we're setting should be something that moves the needle closer to that big dream that can actualize within the next 6 to 9 months, a year max. And then after we have written our intention, just one, fold the piece of paper and we're going to go and put it in the soil, whether that's your pot or your garden, whatever you have access to. Dig just a small hole with your hands and put the piece of paper and then cover it up. This is the act of surrender that the lucky nervous system does naturally. You have done your part. The seed is in the ground. You cannot dig it up and check on it. You can't rewrite it or reverse it. You have to release it. If you have seeds, just plant one on top of that buried intention, something that will visibly grow. And that's it. The luckiest thing you can do now is just stay open and stay relaxed. Take different routes to work, say yes to the unexpected things, trust your intuition when it points you at something. The seed is in the ground, the soil is most receptive over the next 2 weeks. Jupiter is sextiling the moon. The luck surface area is as wide as it's ever going to be this year, I think, in my opinion. I know I keep saying that, but it is just such a special new moon. And then Sunday is so beautiful. We keep having really beautiful Sundays over the last few weeks. So Mercury enters Gemini, its home sign, so it moves out of that slow, sensory kind of Taurus energy into that quick, curious Mercury Gemini energy. Mercury in Gemini is very sharp, very witty. It likes to make connections fast. It is just so mentally alive. And within hours of entering Gemini, Mercury conjuncts Uranus at 1 degree. The very first thing Mercury does in its home sign is walk straight into the Great Awakener. This is the lucky person noticing the chance opportunity that everyone else walked past. The sudden idea, the unexpected connection, the thing that just shows up out of nowhere on Sunday that couldn't have been planned or predicted. So Wiseman described lucky people as having a relaxed openness to new experiences, right? They take different routes. They talk to new people. They say yes to the unexpected. Mercury conjunct Uranus on Sunday is the universe dropping an unexpected opportunity into that mental environment of someone whose nervous system just went through that reset of the Taurus new moon the night before. So the sequence here, as always, when I look at all of the transits, just feels so deliberate. You plant the intention on Saturday, you expand the luck surface area, and then on Sunday, your newly open nervous system notices the first thing that wants to grow towards it. So all of that to say, stay open on Sunday. They don't call Uranus the Great Awakener for nothing. There really could be something super expansive happening for you on Sunday. This is the luckiest week of the entire month, not because the universe is handing things out to us, but because the conditions for noticing what is already available are better this week than they have been in, I think, a really long time. It just feels so good. The soil is ready, the seeds know what they want to become, plant it on Saturday, and then stay super, super open on Sunday. All right, that is all for this week, everyone. Have a beautiful week and happy new moon. I hope you do something special. I hope that you set an intention. All right, I'll see you next week.